and 8th graders who are part of our Mir Cosby Mood, our religious school, to come on up to sing us a song medley. We're going to start now. We're going to go. Let's hear a round of applause for our 7th and 8th graders. We're going to begin. Here we go. So much. And those who didn't come up, Before we continue, I want to share a few things with you very briefly. One, it's important to give blood. I've already given blood this morning. I don't feel woozy at all. It's important to give blood because people in our community need it. So if you can give blood, whole blood donation, or platelets, we have 3 or 4 blood mobiles out there. I encourage you to do it. If you can't do it today, I encourage you to go to a blood bank. They're all over the area. I encourage you to go and give blood and help those in our community. Very important. On this coming Wednesday, May 2nd, we have a Jewish town hall meeting taking place on behalf and sponsored by many organizations and many synagogues in Broward County. It's the theme of this is putting an end to gun violence. It's not to create animosity towards any group in particular. The goal is to be able to have a conversation focused on the federal level with members of Congress and to converse with them on ways that we can get rid of gun violence in America. It's not to put other organizations down. It's a way to have conversation. So we encourage you to come, especially high school students and adults. It's Wednesday night. You have to RSVP. The link is on our website. We've been sending emails out about it. So I encourage you to come and join us for the town hall meeting. And I want to give a big thank you to helping organize today to Raina. Also, thank you to Jennifer and Tracy. Of course, to our choir and band. And of course, to our maintenance staff as well. We rise, we sing the Star Spangled Banner and Hot Tikva.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who proud stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets crackling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the Kolod balela benina, nefesh Yehudi homia, ufatem Israel kadima. I see you, Sophia. Oh,
You may be seated. There's a quote from Abigail Adams, who was our second First Lady, who said, "To be good and to do good is the whole duty of humanity comprised into a few words." There's a story that I heard recently about a young girl and her brother, and they used to fight all the time. They used to bicker back and forth and tease each other because, you know, that's what siblings do really well. And one day, the mom walks in and sees a little girl just sitting on a step in the house, and she has this big grin on her face. And she said, "What's going on? Why are you grinning?" And they start having a conversation because the mother knows that they've been fighting back and forth these last several days because the sister was very upset with the brother because he had built a bird cage to a bird catcher to catch birds, and he's been doing a good job of catching birds. And the sister is really upset, doesn't want that happening because she doesn't want her brother to catch the birds. But he would catch them, and then he would tell his sister all about the birds that he caught and what was going on with it. And she said, and the daughter tells the mom, "I was so upset. I decided to pray to God that he wouldn't be able to catch any more birds." So the mother said, "So what did you do?" She said, "Well, I prayed, and 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 I prayed that my brother couldn't catch any more birds." And the mother's kind of questioning it because she says, I didn't know my daughter had this kind of resolve about prayer and the impact of prayer. But she didn't want to, diminish that. And she said, "But you're really smiling. I don't understand." "Well, I prayed so hard. I know for a fact and he's not going to be able to catch any birds. And the mom's thinking to herself, I mean, that's powerful prayer. She really believes that. But she knows there must be something else going on. So she says, so how are you so certain that he's not going to catch any more birds? Well, the daughter responds, not only did I pray, I actually went outside and broke the bird catcher earlier today. Prayer is important and powerful, but when it leads to doing nothing, it's not good enough. When it leads to taking action and taking steps, that's what's meaningful. That's what's powerful, and that's what makes a difference. Mitzvah ger mitzvah. We're supposed to run to do even a slight mitzvah and flee from transgression. For one good deed leads to another good deed, and one transgression leads to another. We need to do that. Like our mitzvah duet sang today, we need to do more, and we need to make a difference. One good deed leads to another. So the more good deeds we do, the more role modeling that we can do as adults, and kids, the more role modeling that you can do as kids will only help our community get stronger and stronger. And it's not free for us to complete the work, but we shouldn't stop it as well. Important stuff, important things to think about. You know, on behalf of Rabbi Greenspan, who's not able to be here today, and Cantor Jan and myself, we're excited that we have so many hundreds of people who are here to do good for the community. So I just want to thank you. Thank you, thank you. There's a blessing that we say, thanking God for giving us this moment in time, for giving us this opportunity to be together. Please join in the Shehethian.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'ehiyanu v'kidmanu v'kihiyanu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'ehiyanu v'kidmanu v'kihiyanu b'zman hazeh.
Unfortunately, Howard Lippman, our president's not able to be here today. He had a work conflict. But I would like to introduce someone who you know very well, our immediate past president, Susan Kreisberg.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to one of my favorite days at TBE. Thank you all for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Mitzvah Day, we come together as a congregation to help our community. For those of you who do not know, our schools and our camps perform mitzvot throughout the year at Temple Beth Emet. Each grade takes an organization and assists them throughout the year. This is a great lesson not only for our children, but for our adults as well. The important thing about Mitzvah Day is that we leave here wanting to perform more mitzvot. In light of recent events at Parkland, we have witnessed how a few young teens can make such a big difference, and how people can come together to support one another, and that's indicated by your shirts today. This was and continues to be a big mitzvah performed not only locally and community-wide, but nationwide. And it shows you that just what a few people can do when they believe in a cause. I have a sticky note that remains on my computer every day, and it says, "The purpose of life is a life of purpose. We all have a very great purpose here today. And I want to thank you for helping us to perform mitzvot. And I hope when you leave here, you know, one of the ways you can perform mitzvot is just to wear a smile, that you will do that. One other thing I'd like to remind you of that's something near and dear to my heart is we do Operation Gratitude every year. You can stop, and I'd like all of you to stop in before you leave to the social hall, and you can write a letter to a soldier. One of the biggest and the first requests that soldiers ask for when they're asked what they'd like to receive is a letter from home. So there's a booth set up in there, the instructions are simple, and if we could each write a letter, I know they would appreciate it. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Debbie Wasserman Schultz to the Bima. Debbie is a member of our congregation and is Florida's first Jewish congresswoman. She is a mother of 3 and an advocate for our nation's youth, families, and seniors. Debbie currently serves on the House Appropriations Committee and the House Budget Committee, and she's a member of several subcommittees. And we're very happy she could join us here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll be brief so that we can move on to the real purpose for today, which is performing mitzvot. I want to echo some of what has already been said. First and foremost, that I'm very proud to be a member of this synagogue and to see this room so full on this day every year. But this room is full throughout the year for so many different special events. This is a forward-leaning, community-oriented congregation. This is a congregation and a synagogue that understands how important it is that we make a difference in our community. Whether it's Nashvest and bringing the community together and reaching out beyond the boundaries of the walls of this synagogue and the Jewish community to Mitzvah Day, to so many to the gun violence and gun safety program that I look forward to participating in on Wednesday evening. The values of our congregation and of our temple leadership really are projected, and it's part of why I'm so proud to be a member here. Each of us, as members of the Jewish faith, and ideally everyone in the community, but we are taught that tikkun olam, repairing the world, is an important responsibility. I remember years ago when I was in college and I was deciding what to do with my life and the direction that I wanted to go. I had wanted to be a veterinarian for my entire life. I'm a very focused person. I try not to let myself get distracted from achieving goals. Through my whole childhood, through high school, through the beginning of college, everything I did was extracurricularly was focused on becoming a veterinarian. But throughout my time growing up, around my very Jewish family dinner table, my parents always taught us that it was important because we were fortunate to give back. We weren't particularly religious Jews, so it wasn't like they used the term tikkun olam. They didn't use the vernacular, so to speak, but they instilled in my brother and I our Jewish values and the importance of giving back, the importance of making a difference, the importance of what we believe in as Jews, that we should stand up and be a voice for the voiceless and fight injustice. And that's something that has guided me through my whole life. So I got to college. Chemistry and I didn't get along very well. And at the same time, I got involved in student government, which is something, and I had always been involved in the community. So while chemistry and I were not getting along very well, and I knew I maybe had to find a different focus, when I got involved in student government in college, and then real world politics and volunteered on campaigns, it was like I got hit by a lightning bolt. And all of a sudden, all of the values and the belief system that had been instilled in me through my whole life to that point made me realize that I could make a difference in people's lives and decide to have that be my career choice. So essentially, at that moment, when I had to shift gears, I made tikkun olam a career choice. And so that's what I've been able to devote my life to. But you don't have to make as big a decision as I did and immerse yourself fully, professionally, in making the world a better place and making a difference. Tikkun Olam is also about small acts of kindness. It's about making a difference in someone's day, making a difference in a child's life, making a difference in your own home. Something as small as last night, and I try to do this every so often, we went to a restaurant. We had a wonderful server. She was so nice, and of course we tipped her well. That's not Tikkun Olam. I called the manager over, which I do often. The waitress, when I asked her to bring the manager over, I thought she would klutz. Because usually that's never good. In this case, I called the manager over because I wanted to tell him how lovely our server was, and what a good job she had done, and how special she had made our experience. And then on the way, then the waitress came back over, and she was so thrilled. But that was just a little thing. That's just a small act of kindness. On the way out, honestly, I'm sure you've dealt with grumpy, what are they called? Hostesses, or hosts when they come in. They're not always, if you're a few minutes late, some of them are a little grumpy. And you always wonder, why are they not making your first experience with that restaurant a good one? You know what I mean. I'm getting the knowing laughs. So the two hostesses at this restaurant last night were so lovely and so nice, and that's the first introduction that you get. And I could have just blown it off as that's what they're supposed to do, but on the way out, I stopped and talked to them again, and I thanked them for being so nice and for making our initial entry into the restaurant such a positive one. And they were young girls, and they were so, it's just a small thing. And I'm not trying to make myself look so wonderful, but I'm just trying to really describe small little things that we can do each day to try to make a difference and to perform small acts of mitzvot and larger, like we are all doing here today. So thank you for being who you are. Thank you for showing up, because showing up is half the battle. And if we can make a difference like we will today, if we can make a difference like I'll have the privilege of doing every year, whenever I travel, and this is just another suggestion, whenever I travel, which I travel a lot, and stay in a hotel, I collect the toiletries that they leave in my hotel room, and I save them throughout the year, and then on Thanksgiving, I bring them all to the Jubilee Center, which is a food pantry that I have been volunteering at for many years. And because the people who are homeless or who have a little bit of a difficult time making sure that they can get a shower or be able to put toiletries, as we all know, are expensive. They use those travel-sized toiletries. So that's just an idea about what you can do throughout the year. That's the Mitzvah project that I'm participating in today, and I brought toiletries with me so I could add to the collection. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to participating once again. Thank you so much.
We are also delighted that we have two of our mayors here today. We have Greg Ross and Judy Paul. I'd like to invite them up to the bima as well and thank them for being here.
Good morning. I just wanted to mention too, I'm the first Jewish mayor from the town of Davie. We make a lot of firsts. But I just want to say how thrilled I am to be here today and to see so many people in the room. But as a teacher for 40 years, I know that the children will lead them. It's so important to instill these ideas in the young people, and you'd be surprised, and you take a look back at the seatbelt law. It was the children who pushed for that. It was the children who have pushed for so many things that have happened in our society, and I know the children are going to lead the way right now too in relationship to gun safety. It's so important for us to all be on the same page and do what is right and do what is good for our fellow man. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I want to say welcome to Cooper City. To those of you, yes. To those of you who are from Cooper City, welcome home. To those who are not, welcome. We are known as someplace special. And there's one reason why. You. Days like today make Cooper City someplace special because of what you do. And it's fantastic because you're not limiting it to Cooper City. You're going out throughout Broward County and showing what you from Cooper City can do to affect people's days or their lives. Because it's not what you're doing, it's not what you're saying, it's really how you make the people feel. And that's what they're gonna remember. So with that, I just want to say thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. We are proud of it. There are approximately 27 places of worship here in Cooper City alone. You are among the top, and I sincerely mean that. There may be one other church that really is community oriented and comes out and helps the community. You do this on not just one day, but seriously, and of course, what I've heard throughout the year. So for that, I thank you. And for that, on behalf of the residents, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Did I mention how important it is to donate blood?
Hi, I'm back. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest speaker today, so I'd like everybody to Thank you. So last November, I was reading Oprah Winfrey's magazine. I like to read Oprah's magazines because she focuses a lot on gratitude, giving back, and empowerment. There was an article in the magazine featuring 5 women who were making a difference in people's lives across America. I focused on one of those women, and her name was Nicole Russell. I'm not going to tell you a lot about Nicole right now because I'm going to let her share her story with you. But I can tell you that she dedicates herself to giving hope and support to children in foster care and homeless shelters. She started this nonprofit along with her mom, who is here with her today. Nicole has a foster sister, so she's very familiar with the challenges and the obstacles that the children in the foster care system face on a daily basis. Her charity has now grown to chapters in New York City, Los Angeles, and Baltimore. And our dream is now to bring it here to South Florida. So I sat down and I wrote Nicole an email, not knowing if I would hear back from her, and I did. I flew to New York City on a couple of occasions, and I met with some of her board of directors, as well as Nicole herself. Nicole has a passion for what she does. We discussed bringing Precious Dreams, the name of her nonprofit, here to South Florida. Precious Dreams performs what's called comfort drops, and I'm going to let Nicole tell you about that and what they do when they arrive at a shelter. The mission is to make sure our children are comforted when they arrive at one of these facilities. If you brought a journal here today to share with Nicole, I thank you. Nicole uses journals with the teenagers that she sees. It's very therapeutic for them, and if you didn't drop a journal off today, but you would like to just drop a couple off, I will make sure they get to Nicole. We're going to update you on our progress and the need for volunteers for Precious Dreams. We know it's going to make a big difference here in South Florida. And now it is my honor to welcome Nicole Russell to speak to you.
Hi everyone, how are you? Thank you so much for having me today. I'm glad Susan gave that introduction so you're not wondering why I'm standing up here with a teddy bear. So teddy bears give me comfort, and that is the mission of Precious Dreams Foundation. That's what we do. We provide comfort, specifically at bedtime, to kids living in foster care and homeless shelters. And I'd love to share a bit of my testimony with you all. I've come a very long way. I'm from the 5 towns in Long Island, New York. And 5 towns in New York. But it's funny because most people don't know that the idea, the mission of Precious Dreams Foundation was actually conceived here in South Florida. My mother, Angie, lives here in Florida, and she fostered a little girl named Miracle in 2009. And in 2009, this little girl showed up with a small plastic bag and 2 outfits that were too small. No underwear, no comfort items, no toothbrush. She didn't have most of the necessities that most children need. There's a lot of kids here, so I want to ask the kids, how many of you guys either sleep in pajamas or have a favorite blanket or teddy bear or something that you use at bedtime? Show of hands. Adults as well. Great. And you should. You deserve to have things that make you look forward to bedtime. I mean, most kids don't want to go to sleep. Going to sleep means you got to go to school in the morning. But when you have something that gives you comfort and makes you feel okay, you look forward to that time of night. Unfortunately, for children like Miracle, they don't. And Miracle suffered from nightmares 7 nights a week when she first came to live with our family. And because of these nightmares, my mother started introducing comfort items. She started reading to her before bedtime. She introduced her to pajamas for the first time at age 4. And these comfort items made such a difference that the nightmares diminished from 7 nights a week to sometimes 4. To now she can get through a full week without having these night terrors. And as an adult, and for all the adults in this room, I know that you guys can attest to the nighttime is the one time that we are alone and we are forced to hear the voices in our head. And no matter what is going on throughout our day, no matter what stress we have, and no matter what distractions we use to take us away from those things, when we lie down at night, we're alone, we're in the dark, and we're forced to think about all the things that we push to the back of our minds. Foster youth and homeless youth lie awake at night, they stare at the ceiling, and they think about the trauma they've experienced, the reasons why they've been removed from their home, and it's one of the scariest points of their day. And up until 2012, I had never asked myself, how do foster children sleep? I never thought about it. I didn't have a connection to foster youth, and I just never thought about it. So tonight, I want everyone for 60 seconds when you get in bed tonight to just think to yourselves, I wonder how a foster kid is sleeping. And it was that question that forced me to start this organization. And we put these care packages together full of brand new comfort items, pajamas, bears, books, blankets, stress balls, journals, anything that will make a child feel safe and feel comforted at night so that they can go to sleep and wake up the next day and function in school so that they have less behavioral issues. And I'm happy that I'm here to share that with you. One of my board members, Judy Avich, she shared something with me last night, which I've heard about today, Tikkun Olam. And it's not just fixing the world, it's not just, fostering and healing our youth. It's coming together, not just to make an immediate impact, but knowing that a small act of kindness can go a long way. Most of you in here can connect with a comfort item that has helped you on numerous occasions. So a donation of a teddy bear is not just a smile or one interaction, it's something that some kids will keep with them until they are adults. And as they're pulled from home to home and transitioned on an average of 6 different places before they hit 18 years old, they can take this bag, they'll grab this bag of comfort items, and they'll transition with it. And they'll remember that one thing that made them focus on their dreams at night. And at the end of the day, we want to make an impact, but we want to make this a better world. And the only way we're going to do that is if we help the people that make it a troubled world. And there are so many people in here that lose hope of their dreams. They become victims of their circumstances. They make excuses for their behavior, and they grow up to repeat the cycle and end up in homeless shelters or have many children, and they end up in foster care. We have to stop. We have to put an end to that. And we have to do that in the smallest or biggest ways possible. There's a favorite quote that I have by Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, actually, and it's, "The people who are not like us help us grow." It wasn't until I was introduced to foster youth that I found my purpose in life. And I think if we can all be more empathetic as we interact with different types of people and we have these conversations and become aware of different issues in this world, if we're empathetic to them, we can grow, we can help them grow, and we can better the world. So thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you everyone. A journal here. Journals are very important. They help our teens release any stress, anger, or negative feelings at night. So we're collecting journals. I'll be outside. I would love to meet you all. And thank you so much for just having me and my mother here. It means the world to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. It's really an honor to work with her. We're excited to get Precious Dreams growing and going. We visited Pace Center for Women yesterday. We visited SOS Children's Village, and we're hoping to be able to make these comfort drops and help a child get a good night's sleep. Nicole will be in the lobby, so if you want to stop by and meet with her or say hello, you can. We also have someone else I'd like to introduce today. There's a big bus out front. You might have seen it when you came in. Jeannie, where are you? Come on up. She's just going to take a few minutes and share her story about why that big vehicle's sitting out front. I think you'll be really impacted by it.
Hello, everyone. I want to first tell you that I am in total awe of what I have experienced today here. I am not Jewish, but I may convert after today. On behalf of Showering Love, thank you for inviting us here. And Showering Love was created and unveiled in June of last year. We took a city bus converted it into mobile showers for the homeless. We're based right here out of Davie. We're the first in the world to be fully self-contained. Why? Why would I want to do that? Well, I went from being married to a very prominent man in Davie to being 9th in the world barrel racer. I broke my back and I got prescribed pain pills. I lost it all. I lost it all, and for 10 years I lived under a bridge. This is a picture of me. When I was under that bridge, people gave me money, people gave me food. But the one thing that was that's on short supply is dignity when you're homeless. Sharing Love was created to restore dignity one shower at a time, and we're doing that with your support. We are completely run 100% off the volunteers in support of our community. I love that that coming together, what I've seen today, the community. What's the last word of community? It's unity, and I see that here today. Each one of us can do something. We all can be of service in some way, whether it's a smile, whether it's opening a door, whether it's volunteering, whatever it is, we all can make a difference. Our motto is if you give a little, we can achieve a lot. And so I went from begging for change to accepting change to being the change I want to see in the world. Thank you so much for having me.
Once said or once wrote, you need not wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. I know all of you sign up for different activities and different groups to help out. After you're done in your group, there are many other stations, many other areas around the synagogue to help make a difference, to help make a change.